the Business Savvy Singer. Hey there, and welcome to the Business Savvy Singer podcast. I'm Dr. Greta Pope, and I'm so glad that you're here. This podcast is dedicated to vocalists and to those who love them. We interview singers who are working professionally to get a glimpse into their lives and celebrate their personal journey to success. Join us weekly to learn how to move your career forward. Get tips and recommendations to help you realize the career of your dreams. You're listening to the Business Savvy Singer podcast, brought to you by theprivatemusicstudio.net, providing online education to build sustainable careers in music. Also, Eternal Wolf Music, producing audio for every need. And Greta Pope Entertainment, for the finest in entertainment. Hey there, and welcome to the Business Savvy Singer podcast. Today, I have a great lady with me. She's a musical theater actress, and her name is Wydetta Carter. So excited to have you, Wydetta. How are you today?
I am great. Thank you so much, Greta. Thank you for having me. I appreciate this.
You are so welcome. I have long admired your work. You are talented. You are charming. So we want to know all about you. So tell me, where are you from?
Wow. So I am from Erie, Pennsylvania.
Oh my, that's kind of an important area right during this
Very
time
important,
period.
including the city.
Yeah.
So I'm a Pennsylvania girl, born and raised.
Wow. And so how did you, I know that you live in Chicago now. How did that happen? Tell us about your education and how you happened to end up in Chicago.
Okay. Well, let's just go further back.
Right.
I actually started, like probably every little girl does, taking dance lessons and everything at the age of 4. By the age of 8, I was doing community theater in my hometown. I had the acting bug and the singing bug, and kept that going all, through high school, into college. But I went to 2 colleges, graduated from Mercyhurst College in Erie, Pennsylvania, my hometown. But I went to Allegheny College first for 2 years as well.
Okay.
And pre-law and communication.
Okay.
Were my majors. So interesting that musical theater and, this is what it is.
Yeah.
But my father, he always said, you have been singing and dancing since you were 4 years old. If you do not know what you're doing by now, and if you're not good at it, he goes, why would you go to college to major in something that you've been doing all your life?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So we want you to major in something in case you change your mind.
Yes.
4 years out of college, that you have something that you really can fall back to.
Right.
And he said, I don't care. All your electives can be theater, singing, whatever. He goes, but please pick up a major.
Yep. Yep.
So, and I think a lot of parents think that way too.
Of course, because they're concerned for you.
Since you were 8 years old.
Yeah.
And, now you still need to go to college to learn how to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I went to Mercyhurst College, which, like I said, is my hometown, and graduated with a BA in telecommunications, and then a minor in law. So after that, I was that child who said 2 weeks after college graduation, I'm moving to New York.
Ha.
And so I went.
Wow.
And did that whole experience of, sharing an apartment with 3 other actors, because all you're doing is sleeping there. The rest of it's
right.
You're either working, auditioning, or just you're in your 20s. You don't really care.
That's right.
But what I found out is when I got there, I was pretty fortunate. I started working. Of course, it was non-union pay, so you weren't getting that much. But I was still building my resume.
Absolutely.
So I started working right away. And then I started getting a lot of out-of-town jobs.
Wow.
And, I was coming back to New York, but then going away. And again, my father said, why are we helping you pay for a place that you're never from? You keep And it was like my father always spoke in the perfect time, because probably within that same year, I did get a job outside of Louisville, Kentucky, that lasted a complete year. I did a complete season.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes. So I said, okay, and I was actually making some good money and, building my resume again. And I came into Chicago just for a quick audition. Didn't think anything of it. Everybody's like, let's go to Chicago and audition. And so I did. And then I got a call back. I was like, oh, I have to go back to Chicago. But timing was everything, because it was in between shows. So I did. And I got the show.
Wonderful.
And I said, oh, okay. But it was much later, so I got to finish the shows I was working on then. When I came to Chicago, and the whole thing was go to Chicago, do the show, and then go back to New York. Did the show, auditioned for another show, got that show, and you can see where this is going. It's like, I'm going back to New York, but every time I auditioned, I would get something.
Right.
And then I realized, I said, Chicago is it's a great city. All of this theater that's more, it seems to be more accessible to me.
Yes.
And wait, there are streets with trees and grass, and you don't have to go to Central Park in New York.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't really think about these things.
Right.
And I'm like, I grew up on a tree-lined street. I would like to live someplace where I can, And, of course, it may be expensive in Chicago, but not like New York.
Oh, no, not at all like New York.
You can't even compare them. So as things kept going, I said, well, I sort of like Chicago.
That's great.
And I think I'm going to make this my base. However, I did not, within that process, I did end up getting an agent in New York. And, he had said to me, you are going to be able to travel and do a lot of things. So, he goes, don't lose me. He goes, keep me. And so I kept building on that. And, of course, going back and forth and getting national tours and things like that. So long story short, it was just,
happenstance.
That you go audition for something and then, that's the business.
That's right.
The business.
That is how it happens. Yeah. We're kind of nomadic. We go where the work is, and sometimes that ends up being where our lives are.
Right.
So it's really great. So now tell us some of the shows that you've done.
Okay. Well, I will say my first show. Well, let's get to the professional shows. When I say professional, the difference between community theater and things like that. Yes. So my first national tour was How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying.
I love that show.
And that starred Ralph Macchio. And that was a wonderful experience. Now, I had done a couple non-union tours, but there's a vast difference in touring between professional and non-professional. And it was an eye-opener to the expectations in this business. I still think a lot of people enter the not just theater, but enter the entertainment world with these, the lights, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be this. It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
You have to be ready to work.
Yes, you do.
So when I got that show, I'll pedal back a moment. Before that, I actually worked on Norwegian Cruise Line. Okay.
I know them a little bit.
I know. You know all about that. And it was called The Dream. I took that as a sign because the show that they were doing, it was a brand new ship that came out for NCL. And the show they were doing was Dreamgirls.
Yeah.
And that had been my, I was like, come on, I am Effie.
Yeah.
So auditioning for that and getting that show. But there's also, usually on a cruise ship, you do two other shows as well. You do a book show, and then there's a couple other shows that you do. And the choreographer for one of those shows was a wonderful actor, singer, dancer named Wayne Cilento. he was the original I Can Do That
Oh
kid
yeah,
in
in
Chorus
chorus
Line.
line. Yeah.
And here's why I say it's you make connections and things like that. So he had choreographed that, and when I came off the ship, I had auditioned for the show, and I did not know he was the choreographer for that
Oh,
show.
okay.
So even walking in and having him see me, he just went, "Oh my gosh, hey, how are you?" And, you're just like, woo, I was just
Yeah.
happy to see him. I didn't know
Yeah.
to later to find out through him. He said, the minute you walked out the door, because I just looked at him and said, yeah, we're going to hire her.
That's
and
great.
so, that, again, connections that you make, you never know.
You never know.
So that led to that first tour of How to Succeed. Like I said, it was a wonderful experience touring all across the country. If you want to see the world or the country, just, a national tour can get you that.
Yeah.
Probably within 4 months after that show closing, I did the national tour of Dreamgirls.
Wonderful.
So
Wonderful.
not only did I get to do it on the cruise ship, but to do the national tour of it was exciting.
Oh, yeah.
And again, it was a different experience because even though I was playing Effie, I was the standby. I didn't do it every night.
Okay.
And that is another experience that I wish a lot more people could have.
Yes.
Because the standby means you have to be ready.
Yep.
And you have to be ready at a moment's notice. So you are the one that steps in.
That's right.
To when I don't say save the show, but save the show.
Yeah,
if
that's
the
right.
lead cannot do it.
That's right.
So that's a lot. That's a lot on you. But that's a lot of trust in you.
Right. That's right.
And you're not in the show every night.
Right.
So you have to, their energy that you bring has to match.
That's right.
What everybody's been doing.
That's
all
right.
This time.
That's absolutely right.
Right. So that was fabulous. And then I've done, I did a tour of Annie, and I'm going to tell you, that's a learning experience. Children and pets.
Oh, yeah.
Animals. Animals will upstage you.
Yep.
Get over it.
Yep, that's
Just
right.
Get over it.
That's right.
And
very unpredictable. That's right. Very unpredictable. Yeah.
Yeah. Very fun. A lot of fun, though. I mean, they keep you. I mean, come on, children and animals, they keep you youthful, and
that's right.
You just have to smile and really make you, appreciate what you're doing.
Yes.
And then you see these young, talented kids. I mean, you know that show. These little girls singing and carrying a show, a 12-year-old carrying a show.
It's amazing.
I wasn't ready for that until I was in my 20s. And then, to carry a major show like that at 12.
It's unbelievable.
What I've been able to see has been phenomenal. I will say one of the shows that I've been associated with for 14 years, and perhaps you've heard of it, it's called Menopause the Musical.
Yes, I have heard of it. Okay. Yes.
I have toured the country with that show for probably 12 of the 14 years, off and on. But I was in the original Chicago company of that show. And the uniqueness of that show, and also how you engage the audience with that show, it really made me, I'm just so happy this is the profession I chose.
Oh, that's wonderful.
You're not only are you doing what you enjoy, and if you don't enjoy what you're doing, first of all, A, why are you doing it? And B, it comes across that you really,
that's right.
You're not connecting.
That's
you're not
right.
there.
That's right.
So that show alone, with women of a certain age who are just, and yes, I may be a little younger. I started doing the show before I really knew what menopause was about. But now that I'm welcoming it, I know everything I need
all
to
about
know.
it. Yes.
And, and I'm like, now
I get it.
About this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's great.
So, but I've done, that's on the national level. But I've done some other tours in between there. They're shorter. Those are other ones have been for like years. Those are for a year and a half. But locally, the first show I actually did here in the city was at the Marriott Lincolnshire. It was musical theater, dinner theater. And that was Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, yes.
So
Little Shop of Horrors.
Yes, yes, monster eating plant and everything else. A lot of fun, a
Yeah.
lot of fun. Um, and of course, Eight Misbehaving and
Yeah.
Hairspray and Showboat
Yeah.
and Bridges of Madison County.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah.
just,
It's
as you
wonderful.
can tell, musical theater is my
Yeah.
first love.
Yes.
But I've done, plays and things too. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if you're a singer and
Yeah.
you get the gigs,
That's
you
right.
do what you do best.
That's right.
So yeah,
That's great.
I have been very, very, very fortunate
That's
to
great.
have a career that I enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
and really be active,
Mm-hmm.
very active in my union as well. And just, I just wish everyone, if this is your passion and it's something that you really want to commit to,
Yep.
then go for it. Then
Yep.
go for it.
I absolutely agree with that. It is hard work, big
It's very
commitment, but we are so lucky to be able to work at what we love. We are
right,
so lucky. And if
right.
you can figure that out, and make that work for you, there's nothing better in the world.
And then sooner or later, usually your focus is one thing, but as create that and your name is out there, then you can start branching out.
Right.
Then it's commercial work.
Right.
It's film and TV.
Right.
And then of course, cabaret.
Yep.
And I've dabbled in cabaret since, when I say dabbled, I really did. In my hometown. I did 2 cabaret shows before I even left there, not really even knowing. I'm like, oh, I've been to a cabaret show in New York, and I think I can do that here.
Yeah.
Again, nobody was doing it.
Yeah.
In my hometown. So here I am in my 20s going, well, I, can work with people and put the show together. And I had a musical director and everything. And then when I worked on the cruise ship for the first time, I had the opportunity to do a cabaret show on my own. They asked me if I would do it. And I was like, sure. Anytime you would give me a mic and sing, and then pay me a little on the side, I appreciate that.
That's great. That's great.
So you learn from that too.
Yeah.
And now, the cabaret world has seemed to me, it goes up and down.
Yes,
and down.
it does.
Depends on where you are. And
Yeah.
It's a little different in every place you go.
Yeah, and I have a theory about cabaret. I think any style of music, if you're doing it in an intimate setting, that is cabaret. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what style of music you're bringing to that audience, but you're
Right.
connecting with them. And that's something, I think if people can kind of just relax a little bit and realize that, a lot of people will ask me, well, what do I need to, what kind of music do I need to do cabaret? It's like, well, what do you like doing and how can you bring that to your audience in an intimate, meaningful way?
Right.
And if you can do
Right.
that, then you are doing cabaret.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of summer stock theaters have one good thing about doing a summer stock is they usually have a Monday night and a Sunday night series where they let the actors in the shows. Would you like to do a show? Would you like, our community enjoys just hearing you sing.
Yes.
That's a cabaret show.
Yeah,
folks.
that's a cabaret show.
That's a
right.
cabaret show. It's in a different setting.
Yeah.
It's usually, and people are, having cocktails or
Right.
eating, appetizers and things. It's
Mhm.
and it's you and anything,
That's right.
anywhere from a piano to 4 pieces,
That's right.
however.
That's right.
But people realize that, oh my gosh, I'm like, you can do that. My one friend goes, I don't do cabaret. I'm like, actually,
Yes,
you've been
you
working
do.
at this theater for 4 years and you do a
Yeah.
Monday night series
That's
every
right.
summer.
That's right.
You're doing cabaret.
That's right. That's
And he
right.
goes, oh, I thought that was, I'm like,
People
no, you're
don't
doing
get it.
cabaret.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So it's just in your mindset what you're used to.
Right.
Because a lot of people look at cabaret. When I first thought about it, the old musicals, from the 40s and 50s,
Yeah.
where they're always going to a supper club
Right.
and eating, and someone gets up and does this whole
Yeah.
performance, and which
Yeah.
I never really understood how that worked.
And the band knows the
I'm like,
music
they
and
do a
everything.
whole lot with no mic and everything. You sound fabulous. I don't know how you're being heard or how you're singing and dancing. But that supper club feel is what I think people that's what's in their mind.
Yes.
And
Yes,
they
you're
don't
right.
realize that it doesn't have to be that, but that's where that came from.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So,
Yeah.
so a lot of people are doing cabaret and don't even know.
Yeah, they don't even know it. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
So, what would you tell a singer starting out today? What would you tell them about how to move their career forward? What the pitfalls might be? Just what kind of advice would you have for them?
The first piece of advice would be to, whatever you choose to do, be unique to yourself. Mm-hmm. If you let too many other people add this, it doesn't become you anymore. Mm-hmm. You're doing what everyone else wants.
Yes.
Observe other people. Go to see some shows, mm-hmm. and go and speak to other performers who are doing it to find out these little things. But if you are a singer and you truly, truly want to present this, like you said, create from your heart. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, we know what when I think about how many songs are in my head or what I know or what I've sung, you can create from that.
Absolutely.
You really can create from that. But take your time to do it right. Mm-hmm. I always say, start singing in front of a mirror to see how do you like what you're doing when you're singing? Because you see yourself.
Right. With your hairbrush. With your hairbrush.
What do you see when you're singing?
Yeah, that's right.
Do you have a gorgeous voice, but all you do is stand there? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The energy that you need to bring with you, no matter what performance, we're talking auditions, whatever, you have to have energy in your entire body, not just coming from here.
That's absolutely right.
So, and a lot of people are like, oh, I don't like mirrors. I'm like, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah. And
because you don't know what people are seeing.
That's right. And people will also say, I don't like to hear my voice recorded. My thought is, you're going to have a problem because you want to have a clear, objective view of what people are seeing and hearing. When they come to see you, Right. It's very unrealistic to not want to see yourself or hear yourself.
Yeah. So, and so that makes me wonder, I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, well, so when you say that, there's something I have that is I call it songography. And I offer a couple master classes a year, and I do individual work. Mm-hmm. It's just what it is. Mm-hmm. It's songography. Mm-hmm. How are you presenting your song?
Yeah.
I'm not there to, tell you what song to sing.
Right.
But we have people that, and you and I know, they'll sing a complete song with their eyes closed.
Right. People don't know. They don't
know.
Right.
You sound great, but I can't see. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want me to feel from this.
Right. Right.
So, and it's not that every song you have to move and dance and everything, but you have to have energy and you have to be present. Yes. And if you want me to engage with you, how are you doing that?
Yeah. And you have to be.
Can you not look at your audience? Can you not?
That's right.
And think, even with patter, when people create, patter is, the communication between you and the audience between shows. Between songs. What are you actually saying? Are you giving us information about you, about the song or whatever? Or do you just think you need to tell me, Gershwin was born in, 19, whatever. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But how does that relate? So, songography. Let's create in this song. What do you want me to get from it?
That's right. What is your story? You have to be authentic to yourself, because you and I could sing the same song and it could come across very differently because our stories are different. Our personas are different. Our experiences are different. So everybody has their own story to tell. And the more people come to recognize that and want to have their eyes open and want to have a story to tell to the audience, and receive from the audience. When you're performing, it's not only a one-way street. You receive a lot from the audience, certainly in a cabaret setting, where they are
the audiences
giving
love
back to you.
Be involved.
Absolutely, they do. Absolutely, they do.
They'll shout out answers to if you have a question. They'll be like,
That's
right. You're like,
That's
right.
Gosh,
yes, thank you.
And it can change the tenor of your entire show from one performance to the next, depending upon the personality of the audience. So, you have to learn to draw upon all of those things. So you're absolutely right. That's great.
But it is, like I said, it's not just cabaret. It's if you go to an audition.
Oh, sure.
There's a big difference in walking in and like, oh, that person has a gorgeous voice, but there was nothing behind it.
That's right.
That's right. And the next person would come in and sing that same song.
That's right.
And they're at the end, they're like, yes, thank you so much.
Yes, that's right.
They didn't do that when I sang. Like,
right.
I wasn't in the room with you, but I have been on the other side of the table observing. And
so have I.
People that I know, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got to. So. Yeah. And I think you have to do that with every song. And again, I'm not, when I say songography, I do not mean that you have to move and walk and dance and everything. It's just.
You have to be present.
Create the moment.
Yes.
Create what you want us
absolutely.
to see. How would you, if you wanted me to see the color purple while you're singing, what would you put in that? What's coming out of you to make me see
That's absolutely
what
right.
you are singing about?
Yeah.
And if you don't have an answer to that, again,
back to the drawing board. Yeah. That is so true. And that's such an important thing for young singers or kind of newbie singers coming along to understand, that yes, it's important to have a beautiful voice. It's important to be dressed nicely, but really what people want is your essence, what you have to offer.
Right.
And first, in order to offer your essence, you have to kind of be in touch with your essence. You have to know what your essence is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, there's a lot to it.
Another thing I would say is the style of a song. I'm always impressed and I love it when there's a song that you've heard. So it's always like this upbeat song. And then somebody has said, let's just slow this down. Mm-hmm. These words are really meaningful. Let me slow this down and made a samba out of it. So people will get in, and that becomes unique to you then. That person go, oh yeah, you're the one who did that song. You did but you made it a samba.
Right.
Oh my gosh, that was,
that's
so all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, I can do that. Change it up.
Yeah.
We know, if you're going to do a Whitney Houston song, hello, we know Whitney Houston. And if you start to do it and you're trying to, mimic do exactly what she did, people are going to expect a lot of you.
That's right.
But if you say, you know what, let me just change this up. Let me, make it more unique. Now people are going to go, oh, yes, but I like Wydetta's version.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
She did,
That's right. That's right.
Here's a prime example. The song I Will Survive, Larry Gaynor. Mm-hmm. And then Gladys Knight did that really slow version.
Yes.
Which really told a story.
Told a story. That's
One
right.
is about dancing and having a good time. And her version of it was, oh no.
Yes.
You're not
this is serious.
Back to,
that's right.
And you listen to these words. And she was just giving it to you. Yep. She was just sitting on a stool and just.
That's right.
I was like.
That's right. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Yes. Yes.
So,
that's great.
You are presenting yourself. So whatever you can do to make it you.
That's great. Great advice.
That's what's going to get people to go, oh, thank you so much.
You're right.
Because if I wanted to hear the other one, I'd go turn my iPod and listen to that.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Not that some people don't do it well.
Yeah, but
I'm happy that you can hit these high notes and like Mariah and all these other people. That's great. But guess what? If you can't hit those high notes, what can you still give me with this song?
Right. That's right.
So,
Great response. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Wydetta. This has been such a pleasure talking with you. You are such a talented lady. I love hearing you sing. I love hearing your stories. And I wish you much, much continued success. And we're going to put some press releases and so forth from Wydetta in our show notes. So we hope that you guys will check them out. She's had quite a wonderful career and continues to have a wonderful career. Thanks, Wydetta.
Thank you so much.
Sure, you're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The holidays are coming up, and it's time to start thinking about gifts for those special people in your life. Do you know an aspiring instrumentalist or singer? Take a moment to head on over to theprivatemusicstudio.net and check out the many offerings. There are options for folks of all ages and experience levels. Put a smile on someone's face with the gift of music. The Business Savvy Singer podcast is brought to you by the privatemusicstudio.net, Eternal Wolf Music, and Greta Pope Entertainment. Let us know if you know of a singer who is having great success in the music business. We'd love to share their story and their journey on this podcast. Send your emails to info@gretapope.com. We've had a great time with you today. See you next time on the Business Savvy Singer podcast. The Business Savvy Singer.